Herbalist Lounge March, and the topic is Spring Medicine Garden. We do ask that you mute your mic when you are not speaking to eliminate background noise. But remember, this is not a class, this is not a lecture. By all means, unmute yourself. Feel free to chime in because that's what we're here to do. We're here to share our experiences, share our knowledge, share our wisdom and our journeys so that we can put it all together and continue to grow. All right. Your facilitators for this evening are myself, Martina, and I have my two Spice sisters on the line with me.
Peace, peace. This is Asia. Welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, hey, Nima, is this your first time?
Yes, it is. And it's pronounced Naima. Yes, this is my first time, and I'm really glad to be here.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for joining us. This is Lanita, and I am not sitting, but I'm here in Texas, and I'm happy to be here.
All right. So before we get started, we want to first just take a moment to thank our ancestors, the ones that set the way for us to keep doing these beautiful things that we continue to do in healing with each other. The plancestors who set the stage for our existence, our green allies, our trees, our fungi, and of course, you all, us, our community. So we just want to give thanks for these things. Okay, guys. Well, you know what time it is. And if you're new, welcome. We like to get started with just sharing where we're tuning in from. Okay. You can feel free to unmute yourself. Let us know where you're calling in from. Tell us what herb or tea may be resonating with you. Maybe you're sipping on an herbal brew right now. Or you can go ahead and put it in the chat and let us know where you're calling in from. I'll go ahead and go first. I'm calling in from Florida. And my daughter just brought me I have some pressed apple juice, but I warmed it up and thinking about adding a little bit of cinnamon and ginger to it to give it a little spice, a little kick. So that's what I'm sipping on right now in the FLA. Where else are we calling in and tuning in from tonight?
I'm over here in Washington State. This is Asia. So Lanita, we got on that white hibiscus. So
Hey, y'all, this is Lanita. I already told y'all I'm in Commerce, Texas, and I'm really needing a Nervine right now. I'm feeling some lemon balm and lavender. That's what I need to be on.
Okay. Awesome. Where else are we calling in from tonight? Where we got represented?
Hey, I am Naima Z, and I'm presently in Riverdale, Georgia, which is not too far from ATL, Atlanta, about 20 minutes south of. And I'm not right now, I'm just doing some eternal water and but earlier I had a ginger, turmeric, nutmeg, the Chinese five spice, kind of and I added I added some grapefruit zest or rinds, to it, and it came out pretty nice. So I was happy with that. Now I'm just trying to hydrate and get my water intake up. So like I said, I'm coming from Riverdale, Georgia, and I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
That sounds amazing, by the way. Thanks for sharing. Yummy. All right. So feel free when you're ready to go ahead and feel free to in the chat or to unmute yourself. Let us know where you're from and what you're sipping on. Okay. What herbs are resonating with you? So we kind of spoke a little bit about what we're sipping on right now, but what herbs are resonating with you? Lanita, I heard you say that you are in need of some nervines. Are nerve
Yes.
resonating with you right now? And I heard you say things like lemon balm. What are some other things that are resonating with you right now too? Because I feel you on the nervine tip.
lemon balm and some lavender. Even chamomile will make me feel better right now.
And you know what? The connection for me is a little bad right now. I can barely hear you. I did hear the lemon balm. I know your connection's kind of tricky right now, but um yeah, I just wanted to let you know. Okay.
Okay, Naima is been on some peppermint in Florida, and we got
All right, guys. It looks like we're having some technical issues, and I do apologize. It's kind of hard to hear Lanita, but I am looking in the chat and it says Angelita's sipping on some peppermint. All right, nice. And then Clarissa, peace, Clarissa. All right, it's good to see you.
Hi.
How are you?
Peace. I'm doing good. Busy with the babies. Yeah, I am calling in from Covington, Georgia, which is southeast Georgia, about 35 miles from downtown ATL. Drinking water right now, just some H2O, but feeling some hibiscus tonight.
Okay, beautiful. Hibiscus is in the house, and Georgia is definitely in the house as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. And no, Asia, your audio is not lagging. I'm not sure, but it sounded okay with me. So, and I'm gonna tell y'all what, listen, I'm so happy that we're all here gathered this evening. Everyone that's supposed to be here is here. We're gonna talk about this spring medicine garden, what that means to us. Okay. And we are going to keep it at about 30 minutes here, just because we are going to honor some folks who are fasting and have some things going on. But let's make this a good and rich build, because spring is almost here. Spring is here in a few weeks, and we're coming from that winter energy. I know on the Herbalist Lounge, we were talking about, transitioning from the snake energy into the fire horse, and here we are. So, what are we planting in our spring garden? What is in your spring garden? Or shall I say, what comes to mind when you think about your spring medicine? What is spring medicine to us?
All right. So some of the things I think about, like I wanted to back up real quick and think about, because it has gotten cold here again. So it's in the 30s. Tomorrow it'll be in the 20s and the 30s. But the week before it was like in the 50s, almost the 60s, right? So it was indicating to me that it was spring, but now this is indicating that it is false spring. So, let's think about, because in my area right now, I see things blossoming like the cherry blossom trees. So I want everybody to think about in their area, what do you see blossoming and blooming and staying around? And then what is your zone? So around here, they recommend to wait until about Mother's Day to actually put stuff in the ground, because then if not, then you could lose it. So right now, the things that I'm thinking about, like keeping in the ground, or just like in my raised beds that might be safe, or even starting on the inside, that would be safe, is going to be like the garlics, the onions. I got potatoes, like, so everything that's pretty much sprouting in my house right now, those are the first things that are going to go into the garden, because with false spring here, those root vegetables will be safer and they'll be warmer, and root vegetables and herbs, right? So those are some of the things that I'm thinking about immediately.
Okay, nice. So what growing zone are you in, Asia?
I'm in zone 9 something. But
Okay.
yeah, me and Lanita are in a similar zone, but yeah, definitely 9.
Okay. Yeah, we're in the 9 as well. How interesting. From Washington State, Texas, all the way to Florida. We're like a mixture of 9A and B, I believe. But okay, cool. I like what you said. Think about what's popping up in your environment. And yes, definitely had some freezes that popped up here and there. One thing I have noticed is things are starting to warm up. It's still very dry out here. I've noticed a lot of the elderflowers are coming up. Same thing as far as like the onions. A lot of things are starting to sprout, garlic. things of that nature. We're starting seeds inside of our greenhouse, so we're doing things indoors. And what have we started? We started all kinds of things from lemon cucumbers. Being that I'm starting inside and that it's warming up, I am working on sowing some seeds that, you know, like okra. I'm thinking of starting some watermelon early. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about me. I like to try things out and see how things go. I know that sounds a little weird, but sometimes this weather is very unpredictable. And when you are able to start seeds indoors or have them in a greenhouse, you can go ahead and transplant them out when they're ready. But Asia, some of those plants that you mentioned, like the radishes, beets, I like to directly sow those into the ground, carrots, things like that. And we can just grow those all year round over here. So putting back in the radishes because those are quick, that's quick medicine. You know, we can harvest in 30 something days with some varieties. So I'm thinking of that. I'm thinking of putting down the herbs. Some of the herbs are still persevering through the winter. A lot of our greens are still persevering through the winter and still going, like the mustards, for example. Those things are going strong. Yeah, we have a lot of different things going on over here, and we're putting down more seeds every 2 weeks. We're adding seeds and transplanting them outside, either in beds or in the ground. We're building trellises so that we can have vertical space. And yeah, we're just ready to get ready for spring garden at the school and see what happens. You know, we're excited about it. Yeah, Clarissa, watermelon. We're doing the yellow meat watermelons this time again, so it's gonna be fun.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can hear you so well. It sounds great. So much
Good.
better.
Good. Okay. We hope this works. You're planting your garden, and I'm watching what nature gives me out here. Um, the way I found out the best medicine I had in my garden was the lawnmower broke. And because we couldn't cut the grass, stuff just grew. And as it grew, I discovered I had heel all, I had stinging nettle, I have, so much medicine growing out here. Sometimes we're too quick to manicure our lawns. If you just let it grow and see what grows, it may be something that you really need. It is said that if something grows around you, nature is giving it to you because that's what your body needs at that time. So being observant as to what's growing around you is also a way to kind of not plant your medicinal garden, but observe and see what medicine is being presented to you.
I love that.
That's perfect, Lanita.
Yeah, I really appreciate you saying that, Lanita. This is, like I said, this is my first time. Again, this is Naima. This is my first time at this. I'm not going to repeat myself again and again, but what I wanted to say was I'm just starting this. I wanted to start this spring to create, garden beds, raised ones in the place where I'm staying, because I don't think I can, do anything permanent where I'm renting from right now. But something occurred to me just this morning to see if, like, how you make cuttings with certain plants. I was like, I wonder if I cut some of these herbs, like that I have fresh herbs from, a farmer's market, if the same thing would happen. Now, see, I'm really, green thumb new to all of this, but I've been yearning for it for so much of my life, and now I'm starting to like walk into the process. But I was just wondering, does that work? Does anyone have any experience with, cuttings and as opposed to going from just seed to going directly from seed. So that's my question at this moment.
That's a really good question.
So I
Yes.
have like thyme, tarragon, dill, parsley, all these different things. And I was like, well, maybe they'll sprout just like, like my what's it, monstera monstera, just my other plants, like I can do. So I'm just wondering.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. And it's a beautiful way to multiply. Um, Me personally, I've definitely rooted things like mint, lemon balm from cuttings, um, a lot of the mint family plants, basil, catnip, things of that nature, thyme, and just like you said, take cuttings, put them in a little bit of water. When they start getting roots, put them in some soil, or just I sometimes just stick the cuttings directly into the soil and they take root from there. So absolutely. Anybody else ever do herbs or different types of plants from cuttings?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm one of those cheap people that when you go to the grocery store, I buy the green onions. I buy them one time and I'm gonna have them for 6 months. You know, if you you use the tops off of them, you put that bulb back in the water, they will regrow. And you can grow them at least 2 times before they start tasting a little watery. So cutting from that, and also my experience with sweet potatoes last year, which that sweet potato vine is very medicinal. They use it in African soups.
Mhm.
And you can, get your, I forgot the name, what you call those, slips. You get the slips from the sweet potato, but you can also just plant the potato and go from that. So when you're getting organic fruits and veggies and herbs, put them in the ground. If they are the original, that not hybrid seed that they didn't hybrid seed, usually some for it.
We were losing you slightly at the end, but what I was catching, Lanita, is you're talking about the sticks, and putting those in the
Yeah.
ground, growing them, yes, in the water. So yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And can you tell us more about using the vine? Because I definitely use the leaves, like, and throw them in greens, and, make that pot liquor, but I've never used the vine.
Mm.
Yeah, they use the whole thing, the vine and the leaves on it, and they make what they call potato soup from it. But it doesn't have the beta carotene in it, but it does have medicinal properties for them. So they use that in the soups. And I guess you would use that just like when you're cutting up greens, you get the stems, you use the stems and the leaves. So when they make the soup, they're using the whole vine and the leaves with it.
Nice. Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
good.
I've been experimenting with that too, and it's really, it makes a really dent. Well, it not just like it's a rich and tasty, uh, like soup base, or whatever you want to use it for. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to feel like the Mad Hatter in the kitchen with all the different things that I'm, trying to grow and experiment with. But and it's funny because like sometimes it's like, okay, I think the more the merrier. You throw everything in together, and voila, you've got something wonderful. But my body's like, okay, what are you doing to me? So I have to learn like proportion, balance, and all that good stuff. But I really and I'm enjoying this process of you know um going to herbs and like growing and just mixing it all together like mixology or something with the herbs. So and I like learning, so I'm really grateful for you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I was just gonna go back and just like reiterate, definitely, Martina, what you said about the like the mint family. Anything that's in that mint family, they root very well, spread very well, and like those hardy vegetables, like the root vegetables and things, those are really good for sprouting, and getting cuttings off of those and rooting those. So keep going, um, and you'll have all kind of stuff here real soon.
And take heart too when you're doing this, because my spice sisters were telling me how lemongrass grows and it grows so easy and have abundance. Tell you, year after year after year, I had dead lemongrass. It didn't grow, but I never stopped trying. It can be your soil may need, to be enhanced a little bit. It can be that you need to put it in a potting mix and then put it in the soil after that.
But what actually made mine grow, thank you, Lewis, was llama beans, which is a nice way to say llama poop. But the llama beans put nitrogen back in the soil, and they're very rich in minerals. And when I packed the lemongrass down with the llama beans, it finally grew. So don't give up if it doesn't happen the first time. Just keep trying.
No, that's so important. And it's so funny because one thing that, like you said, Lanita, we have lemongrass thriving over here. And then Lanita's like, wait, something's happening, and vice versa, right? Like our plants are just like us. What do we need? We're all humans, but we're all different. We have different needs. And it's so interesting when you just take a step back and really look at, okay, what is going on, and go to the basics, the nutrition, the water, and the environment. And I like the fact that you mentioned you use the llama poop, the AKA llama beans. That's important too, just making sure that we have good nutrition for our plants. And the big question I get a lot of times is, hey, what do you guys what do you do for fertilizer or whatnot, or for pest control? And one thing I find is when I have healthy soil, good nutrition, my plants' immune systems are strong, and I don't have to really worry about pests as long as I'm there keeping an eye on them frequently. But what are some other things outside of our llama beans that we're using to enhance our soil? I know there's a lot of cool things. Like Asia just mentioned the red wiggler worm poop. I know there's fish emulsions, there's kelp water, right? Seaweed water. I know some people use that. What are some other things that we're using to help our plants and give them nutrients that they need, especially for our home gardens? And welcome to the people who just entered. Peace, peace.
Composting is really good if you're, eating pretty healthy. Anytime you cut and peel vegetables, just put that in the pile of dirt. Right now, I have a planter that's not being used, so I just went in there with a shovel and start making holes, and I put my compost in there and cover it up. That makes your soil really nutrient dense. And the plants like to eat just like we do, and they need the nutrients that we need. So using your scraps from what you're cutting or whatever, as long as you aren't putting meat in there, you can put it in there. And some people will tell you not to use eggs. You can use your eggshells, just make sure you rinse them really well, because they can cause salmonella in your compost. But crushing your eggshells and putting them in there is also adding calcium to your soil. So I'm a big composter here.
And I'm so happy Asia mentioned the soldier flies, because the AKA black soldier fly, are one of my favorites. And Lanita, you just hit a point saying there's certain things that we know we have to be mindful about putting into our compost. One thing with black soldier flies, so we started setting up we have a little easy setup for the black soldier fly. And it's interesting because we have just plastic tubs that we repurposed, PVC pipes to allow them to, once they're able to fly, they go from a different stage, their larvae stage, and then they go to their adult stage as a fly, and they're able to go away, right, and fly off and lay eggs and continue the cycle. But what I love about the larvae stage, they eat anything. They are little alchemists. So what we're starting to do is, we just started because we had to wait till the cool weather ceased. We're getting food scraps from the cafeteria. And they have all kinds of stuff in the school programs, from dairy, meat, all kinds of stuff. But when I tell you that the soldier flies turn anything into rich compost faster than I've ever seen, it's pretty amazing. And if you do have like chickens, for example, the larvae is also chicken feed. So it's like a very sustainable system. And I've seen people do black soldier fly setups in their backyards in very small, like little systems. So if you look it up online, a home backyard setup. You can do a really big, extensive one, but you can do a really small one. And it's pretty cool how fast those babies will turn waste quickly into great compost that you can add to your plants and integrate. All right.
As we're talking about medicines, I just wanted people, to know that it doesn't have to be something that, traditionally that you read all of these books and the herbal books tells you is medicine, like the echinacea, and then you have to have yarrow. And, some of the things are simple. You have right there in your herb, you may not realize it. Like, it has so many medicinal uses. And then some others, very simple things, some of your peppers, some of your spices that you're growing have medicinal uses. Did y'all lose me? Am I there? I'm
No,
gone.
we can hear you, Lanita. It's just chopping up, but everything.
Oh,
Yeah. I
okay.
think you're
All
talking
right.
about
But
like the
so
spices.
your herbs. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. We can hear you clearly now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. My the herbs that you grow in your garden, some that grow wild, that wild onions and wild garlic is the thing I love about spring, when people start cutting their grass and you can smell it. All of that is good and can be used for medicines. So you don't necessarily need to go with what all the top herbalists are using. What did your grandmother use? What did your great grandmother use? What did people use before they had access to all of these fancy name stuffs? And you don't have to get all your stuff from Asia. We have things that grow here in the US naturally that you can use, that you can find it right outside. You can grow it in a window garden. If you have a small space, you can use that. And Martina, I think you all are doing some hydroponic stuff too, right?
We are doing some hydroponic stuff inside, and when I look at these hydroponic systems, they can be recreated with very simple tools. Like you said, PVC pipes. I mean, Lanita, you've made instruments out of PVC pipes, so it doesn't have to cost a lot. I like what you're saying because you can set your own aquaponic system up, but you can keep it simple by getting cuttings. And you made me think of springtime and cleansing bitter melon, for example, right? You don't have to have the Asian right here in the South in Florida. We have the cerci, which grows like a weed. Like, look around your area, see what invasive species there are. Like kudzu is invasive here. What they're invasive, but a lot of these invasive species are medicinal. And I mean, I'm not trying to get into the whole foraging thing, but that's later down the line here on the next topic. But I like what you said because a lot of them we can take the seeds and cultivate them right here in the same environment, and they're already thriving for a reason. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, and plantain, dandelion, nettle. These are the things that you start seeing
Dandelion.
popping up. And I miss dandelion because in New York I used to see it, but out here you don't see it as much in the South. But we do have plantain. And I just found a new species or a new variety of plantain this weekend. It was the smallest little plantain I had ever seen, but once again, it's medicine. And um, when I do look at the medicine growing in our environment, I first think of it as how is it an herbal for the environment? Because it's an herbal in the environment first. And when we start recognizing the role that it plays in our ecosystem and the environment, it can give us insight to how it can heal us, right? So there's so much beauty popping up right now. And I think what Asia said and what you said, Lanita, was huge. Just observing, paying attention, and the medicine will come to you.
And out here, the surprise for me was heal all, or Prunella vulgaris. There are several plants that they call heal all, but the one that grows here, Prunella vulgaris, and let me tell you, that works for everything. So it's one of those things, can cover everything, and you have to make sure you know it, but you want to teach down to what you have. We have let's hear about little poison ivy, and the poison ivy grows out here. But you probably, if you have poison ivy, you also probably have stinging nettle growing around you too. So, not talking too much about the foraging, but just gathering what grows around you. So.
Mm-hmm.
And just know too, like, there are the varieties out that are growing out from the ground naturally. That also means that you may be able to get different varieties, like from your farmer's market. Some people might be growing different stuff too. So,
Mhm.
might have like the nettles or the whatever or the plantain growing, but other people might have different varieties. It's always good to get with like other gardeners in your area and other folks, who like plants and is like growing stuff. People that have like community gardens. There's a lot of community gardens out here because that's another hack. So if you are around like plant people who love plants, they'll practically give you stuff. You could go to plant trades. Like that's another way, like
Mhm.
if you're not trying to buy a whole bunch, like you can swap. And then that's also a part of building community too. So
Mhm.
like that's, especially when I was growing a lot of plants in Hawaii before I moved 50 million times. But that's how I made a lot of friends too, just by bringing stuff, giving stuff away, people giving stuff to me. And then just one other thing, like, so we talked about like the green onions, the onions, the garlic, and things that we can already like, if we get it from the store, then we can grow it in the ground. So don't forget about the stuff that comes with seeds. So you can still even sprout stuff. It's very easy. Like I still use the method that I learned in elementary school, taking those seeds, putting it in a paper towel, wetting it, putting it in a plastic bag, and just making sure like it stays wet. And it's either it depends on the ones, but sometimes I'll keep it like in dim light so that it'll root. Sometimes I'll keep it in the light, but either way I've been successful with doing that, and then also putting it in the ground. And Harmony is also interested in planting too, so
I can't wait to see Harmony's spring garden, Asia.
yeah, her hands in the soil.
Her and Nairobi can talk about that later on, okay? while you and I get a nap, okay?
There we go.
When you were speaking, Asia, I was thinking a couple things. And also with the seeds and stuff. Well, before I even say it's seeds, I'm thinking about winter, how we did like bok choy. And as you start doing your spring garden, think about how to harvest too. And I know we're just at the beginning phases, but this is also important. You know how a lot of times you'll see like the whole head of bok choy in the stores and stuff. But one thing I learned working and growing different plants myself is there's ways you can just harvest the leaves a little bit here and there. But most importantly, right now, a lot of the winter crops are going to seed. So instead of harvesting everything, we leave a lot of them in the beds so that we're able to save the seeds. And in order for it to go to seed, and in order for them to be pollinated, it's also good this spring. If you're going to be doing a spring garden, think about your pollinators, right? That's going to be important. And I like to look at what, like Asia mentioned, connect with local community gardens, find out what's going on in your area, find out what your local or your native plants are, because those are going to support your not just specific types of pollinators, but most importantly, your native pollinators, which have to compete with invasive or non-native pollinators. So that would be a really important thing. I think about Asia when I think of flowers. I think about lavender and nasturtium, because Asia was one who, since back in the day, always had flowers, put flowers in the food and put flowers on pizza. But I am definitely getting, and my mom was always a flower person. I grew up with, she liked to grow a lot of flowers. I was not always a flower planter, but I am getting into my flower planting era, y'all. So I'm excited about it. And whenever I plant something, I always say, you know what? Let's sprinkle some flower seeds around here to kind of help integrate And you know, companion planting, intercropping, they complement and help with the pollinators. So I just want to throw that out there.
And Asia mentioned joining groups and finding people in your community. If you're like me and you don't know anybody, or you don't, know where to go, these things might happen. Check your Facebook groups. You can just, put in different groups and then put in some keywords like gardening, people grow herbs, things of that nature. You have Facebook groups, usually they're close around you, Instagram groups, and all kinds of things that you can use in social media to help you find groups around you. And saying that, I also want to remind y'all, if you want to drop your social media handle in the chat so that we can keep in touch, that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to do so. If you have a business or something as well that you want to share, or a website or anything, we're here to support. Share it in the chat. We'd love to follow you and check it out. So feel free to do that. Absolutely. All right. So we've definitely spoke about some herbal allies that are popping up around us. Like I said earlier, we were going to keep this a little short and sweet, just to honor a few things today for some folks. But before we talk about upcoming events, I'm so excited about Spring Gardens. I'm excited. I'm thinking about all the medicine we're going to be making and talking about next month. Does anybody else have anything else to add that they would like to explore, or that they like, or anything regarding the topic today or something else? Feel free to do so. Okay. Beautiful. Well, in the meantime, I see a lot of new faces, or a lot of new people coming from a lot of different places. First timers at the Herbalist Lounge, a lot of OG herb nerds, and it was just really great to have everyone. So if you haven't already done so, definitely check out the Herbalist Lounge on YouTube and subscribe. We do have several videos. We post our Herbalist Lounges, which is every second Monday of the month. We post the recordings up there. If there's a specific topic that you're interested in, if you go to our Herbalist Lounge YouTube, type it in and search, there's probably a video for it. In addition to that, we have videos like DIYs, and even topics where we talk about what to do with these plants that we're cultivating or foraging, and how to make medicines from these herbs, all those good things. Okay. And speaking of kitchen medicine, Lenita was mentioning, hey, keep it simple. Think about those spices if you need to. Well, back in 2022, I believe it was 2022, the three Spice Sisters, we did a kitchen medicine making workshop. It was a 2-day live virtual workshop, and it was amazing. It was basically how to turn culinary spices into kitchen plants and produce into healing and nourishing herbals. So this is for purchase. The link will be placed inside of the chat. Actually, it's already placed in the chat. And if this is something you're interested in, you can purchase it. You get the 2-day live recording. You also get the workbook and a list of recipes. And when I tell you these recipes were very versatile from us three Spice Sisters, oh my goodness, we covered a lot of things. So definitely check that out. If you want to start making some medicine in your kitchen, or if you know somebody that does, send it their way, and please share, and thank you. Okay. Also, if this was your first time, don't make it your last time. We'd love to have you next month and every second Monday of the month when you are able to join. So if you would like to subscribe to our mail list, go ahead and click on the chat. We went ahead and we shared the link. And don't worry, we're not going to spam you. We'll just let you know if we have any upcoming events, and we'll just give you a gentle and friendly reminder. Hey, Herbalist Lounges tonight. Don't forget. So make sure you tune in. All right. So make sure you subscribe to that as well. And the next Herbalist Lounge, every second Monday of the month. And I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic to my Spice Sisters. But before I do, sending everybody green love, and let's get these spring gardens popping. We all got it in us. I can't wait to connect again soon and hear all about what you guys have planting. Okay, so happy planting and peace.
All right. So glad to see some new people. I'm sorry, my connection was terrible. Naima, I just had to tell you, when I was a kid, my nickname was Nemo. So when I saw your name, I was like, oh, Nemo.
That's so funny. My brother's friend used to call me Nemia. Oh man,
So-
that's cool. Oh, it's been a pleasure, you
Thanks
guys,
for
and I look forward to next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, y'all. Peace, power, green blessings. Get those seeds and starts in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. Peace.
All right, bye-bye. Peace.